And welcome to the AEW Dynamite preview. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Dynamite tonight and the return of the Wednesday Night War.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bothered.
No.
Podcast, just like you remember.
Just like you remember it.
Tired Thursdays, just like you remember.
I'm watching NXT on lunch.
I was thinking that if we do Dynamite first, that like frees up lunch, doesn't it, for NXT? Avoid spoilers. It's quietly the one I'm most excited about, but for the good of the game.
Oh yeah, the good of the content game.
The good of my physical health.
Yes.
I don't think I can be doing double screen middle of the night, doublers anymore. It's exciting though.
Yeah.
Bit of nonsense, isn't it?
I don't think any of us disagree on what we think the result's going to be for the war.
Well, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Retention.
Let's start by...
I will say that Tony Khan's not been anywhere near as bullish as he was last time.
But and they haven't given up by booking 2 women's matches on this show, so I think it shows their intentions.
It was the Tuesday one, wasn't it?
Let's start by talking about Bobby Lashley, though. He is all elite, seemingly. The Hurt Syndicate are advertised as appearing live on tonight's show. Very excited for this. I've been away for a couple of weeks, and I'm very happy to see what's been going on with them.
They are the act in AEW right now that I'm most interested in. I don't want to say, I think I speak for all of us, because everyone who does that is a complete asshole. But the consensus that I can see from my own curated social activity, social media, I've only got one friend who gives a toss about AEW outside of this, is that people have really, really attached themselves to the act. There's a lot of belief in it. They feel major league. It's been booked very well. We've talked extensively about how Shelton Benjamin being cast as someone who's just not merely there to eat pins. It feels like there's a bit of thought. It feels like, I like the various, I know it's 5 years in. I should be bored of this. I actually like the various attempts at recruitment and how the idea that they're even recruiting full stop is having impacts and repercussions on the likes of the Acclaimed. This is all good stuff. Tonight, what I would like, or rather what I would not like, is for MVP, and I think it's better than this, I think it's been fantastic, is to not talk about AEW as an entity at all, unless it's a place in which they can dominate and make money and win championships. I want it to feel distinct from the Moxley unit. I actually have faith that I would feel distinct from the Moxley unit. I want a mission statement of intent from the Hurt Syndicate. I love the word syndicate.
Yeah, it's great. It's like
the best synonym that could have...
First mentioning the name. It's like, I love that.
Yeah,
they nailed that.
It's the coolest synonym for a business, syndicate. It's just awesome. So I love that. I just want them to say, in their own words, we are here to dominate, to take over, to win championships. I don't know how vague they need to keep it. And one of the issues is because, one of the many glaring issues with AEW right now is that it just never feels like it all fits together in this cohesive vision with this structured plan. Because the idea is they want to take championships. Every championship is held by a heel other than the tag team championships now. So what do they go for? So do they keep it vague? I don't know, but you can't go half in on an act like this. I mean, just look at Bobby Lashley. I need to see those pecs, those traps, those delts. I want to show him the glutes. I want to see him.
Pop that shirt off, Bob.
What championships do they go for?
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to do something. I mean, I know what the I know the short to medium term picture is. I'm not an idiot. I can comprehend US cable television. They're going to have a feud with Swerve Strickland. But the idea is they wanted him to join them initially for the unstated but pretty obvious goal of just being the hardest lads in the business, in AEW, to therefore win championships, because that's what the point of all of this is. I would like them to do that balance and say, we're here for one thing. Swerve, you've still got you should have joined us. We're going to beat you. En route to, this is our ultimate goal,
We a lot of fun on the Collision review earlier on this week. We also came up with a new game, Where the Best Wrestle Bingo, we call it. Right. Because You just got to take a pick as to who you think's going to drop that each week. It was the Outrunners, wasn't it, on Collision?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, you alluded to it earlier. I really like the wide net that MVP's casting of not just being like, right, we want Swerve, and we're going to focus on Swerve until Swerve says no, and then we're going to move on to so-and-so. It's like they've done Swerve, Ricochet's got a card, Max Caster, as Sige said, is considering it still. I really like this setup of the whole thing.
Yeah, with Swerve as the blueprint, that card now becomes either the twist of them joining or a rival of the group. That card is an invitation to a storyline and a reason to care about these wrestlers again. In the Acclaimed right now, you have this card that is potentially splitting the team in half or resulting in the team turning heel or resulting in the Hurt Syndicate kicking their ass. And those are developments. Any of those are the developments the Acclaimed need.
Not Billy Gunn's ass, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. They don't even want him, and that's a credit to the Hurt Syndicate as well. And that kind of like highlights the gulf in the quality of talent they're trying to bring into this group. I love, in my head, that MVP sat at home watching Swerve Strickland and earnestly wanted him for this group he was forming with Bobby and Shelton. Like, we're going to get the Hurt business back together. We're going to do it over there. And we want Swerve Strickland. He's been the top guy, and we're associated with championships and being the best, and that's who he is. It's that perfect pro wrestling. We're going to put the guy over, and then we're going to kick the guy's ass. He didn't take the spot, and now he has to fight and probably lose to Bobby Lashley, and that's great because it's very straightforward, but very important when you're setting up a stable, like consequences to the actions and backing up your words and all that sort of stuff. Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland is a really, really cool money match that almost hid in plain sight when Bobby Lashley was going nowhere in WWE and Swerve Strickland was the AEW World Champion. Just wasn't one that you were looking at, and because it doesn't feel like there's too many left. I was thinking about this last week. Like, we were marking out Kenny coming back in New Japan, because like, there he is. And it was the first time in months I've thought about, Kenny and Punk. There is one across the divide that I actually still want to see. Bobby Lashley and Swerve Strickland probably should have been one all along, and now AEW are presenting it. This is how it used to go in AEW when they would bring a disillusioned wrestler over. This is how you're supposed to feel about these kind of matches, so we're going to get that. And then in the meantime, this stable that is about winning championships, about what it is to be a wrestler, MVP as a scout, not just a mouthpiece, not just a manager, but a coach, a smart guy that spots talent, elevates talent, and justifies his position at the head of this group. It's perfect for this AEW right now, because there is characters like a Leo Rush who either gets confirmed as a loser by getting beaten up by Moxley's group, or abandons the losers for like a winning way and gets on side with the Hurt Syndicate. This, for as much as it feels like the Hurt Syndicate and Moxley's group are overlapping a little too much, if you move away from this soul of AEW stuff on the Hurt Syndicate side, it just becomes about winners and losers. Because me and Sid did a pod while you were away, where it hit us during one of our Collision reviews that like these wrestlers that are building up winning records, John Moxley should actually love.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, why is he beating him up? Because they're winning matches. Like, so we didn't. It was Sid's brilliant idea of going down the entire roster. Does John Moxley like this wrestler? Ultimately, every single wrestler, right? And that's ultimately one of the many things that's a little bit muddled about the Death Riders. You don't need to muddy those waters with the Hurt Syndicate. Wins and losses,
it's a better
titles.
idea.
Yeah, wins, losses,
better,
titles, fixtures.
More simple idea.
Yeah, goal-orientated pro wrestlers as managed by like a cool mouthpiece that wants to recreate that image that everybody loves, because they probably weren't watching Thunderdome WWE of the Hurt Business with all the belts in a studio, but recreate that in front of live crowds, like in a way that's actually been booked.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, actually, because we were just recording the Q&A, me and Andy, and one of the questions was like, who dethrones John Moxley? And obviously we both were like, Darby Allin. Darby Allin, probably, more than likely, Darby Allin. You could make an argument for Eddie Kingston or Kenny Omega or whoever, but it's going to be Darby Allin. And I mentioned Bobby Lashley's name, and I was like, doesn't work as if anyone's going to fight for the heart and soul of AEW, it's going to be me. But yeah, Bobby Lashley would go, you got the world title. I want the world title, so I'll be taking that. Thank you very much. To segue over into it, because the phrase coexist has been sort of bastardized by so much of wrestling, but like, you got to factor in Moxley's Death Riders and all this. They're in action tonight. They're facing off Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. Yeah, how do you sort of manage this now, Sige, with the two groups? And do they just completely not interact? Or
Tony Khan to consider. It depends really on how far he wants to take the Hurt Syndicate. Because as we've just gone through the BCC or the Death Riders or whatever we're calling them, are dominating that world title picture, I would expect for a minimum of 3 pay-per-view cycles, because you want to get through Orange. I want to see Daniel Garcia do something, and then Darby maybe could fail again, and then, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah. I think we're looking at 6 months at a minimum, sadly, because that's a lot of raw speeches to wade through, to cringe at. Then you've got Takeshita. I don't want to see that international title taken off him. I want to see him, if anything, hold that for a long time, firmly and fully establish himself as one of the best in the world, because he deserves nothing less than that platform. TNT feels small fry. It really feels small fry, and that is also figured in to the wider umbrella program. Continental looks like it's Kenny and Okada at some point. You know what Kenny does. He talks about things in media interviews, then he just seems to do them 6 to 12 months later. I don't know. They've signed too many wrestlers and they've got too many belts. It's their mess.
You were talking there, and I was thinking, well, do you do the trios then? But then you have to pair them directly against the Death Riders. You'd have
and then
to
you
pair
do
like
that comparison.
Bobby Shelton and let's say Leo Rush, for example, whatever.
You've got a delicate balancing act of one seems cooler than the other. Look, I couldn't be a wrestling booker. I can definitely be an analyst, God damn it. I could not be a booker, because I would see something like the Hurt Syndicate and I would just tear up all the plans and just give it them to the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like they're better. I like it more. It's less grabby and desperate. Like, they're just desperate for me to like AEW. They just exude something that I'm drawn to. They want me to think Daniel Garcia is the big savior, or that Darby Allin can finally get it done, and then they're wearing AEW t-shirts and they're glorified mascots, and it just feels like they are vessels for Tony Khan's "it's not fair, we should be winning" rage, you know?
I want Mercedes Moné to join the Hurt Syndicate so her run can get cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like. That's a shoot and a work. I want to just think about that more than,
I don't know how they coexist. I would personally speedrun this Moxley stuff. I don't think it's great, but that is something that's, unfortunately for me anyway, is something that's going to complicate my relationship with AEW for the foreseeable future, unless they develop personal issues to sort of make it something that worth my investment. I've said this, and I'm almost sick of hearing myself talk about it. It's not just something where I'm like, ugh, you've done this like for the last 2 or 3 years. It's such a dumb idea, realistically, where there are disillusioned AEW fans. I see it on Twitter constantly, and yes, it's a bubble, but whatever, where they just think, oh, it's gone a bit lame. I feel like they're posing with the Continental Classic, the tunnels and the rankings. It just feels like poser stuff, like desperate, empty promises. They are disillusioned with AEW as an entity. Isn't therefore the idea of baby-facing AEW as an entity and trying desperately to get you to like it again, it's just so, it's dumb strategically. Yeah. That sentiment does not exist outside of those total hardcores, making that the thing that you kind of have to get on board with if you're going to watch AEW for the foreseeable. It's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. It worked in 2019, and it wasn't quite as... I wouldn't
even say it was as on the nose as it is now back then.
Of course it isn't.
Cody as a character was sort of...
You needed
that, but he could actually direct that towards his storylines and wanting to win titles and fight MJF, not a... literally just coming out and wearing the brand on a shirt.
They've dumbed it down, they've flanderized it, they've broadened it, and it's just at the worst possible time. I've said for a long time, like I've got the receipts as well, I've got an article that I can dig up. The Copeland... Harwood, raw speeches like, this stuff ain't working. This stuff is not working at all. So here's a capital idea. Let's reorient the entire promotion around this sort of thing. Dumb idea. I'm not on board with it. The sentiment isn't there to exploit. Reorient yourself as a backdrop to title programs and grudge programs. That's all.
I have a question.
I'll probably have an answer.
Is it possible? This is about the storyline rather than the bigger picture, because this is me trying to find something to be passionate about. With this,
I would like to as well. I loved loving AEW. Yeah, it was great. I'm not trying to be a grifter here, I promise.
No. I'm
addressing the...
Yeah. Like, I'm looking into this Death Riders thing and trying to find something to like grab onto a little bit, or latch onto. And there was the really cute line from Orange Cassidy last week about, I'm going to take that belt out of your briefcase and put it in my backpack. And it's like the difference. We're the same but different, you and I, John Moxley. And I love that. Do we think that in that briefcase there's like a smashed up title, and Orange Cassidy going to do that ahead of the pay-per-view reveals that as part of Moxley just destroying it? Like, there's a reason why that case hasn't been opened yet. It's wrestling. There tends to be a little bit of like intrigue around these things, doesn't there? Like, is that going to sort of reveal yet more of how Moxley believes this? When he said he was going to burn down the forest, that the company is broken, is there going to be a literal manifestation of that, of just a smashed to pieces world title? And Orange Cassidy, like, the idea, he goes to get it, to make a point of doing it, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I hate that.
All right.
Or, I'm sorry, I hate it.
Just like as a way to sort of like really just make it clear that John Moxley's a twat. Not this. That's not the character. John Moxley is a twat. Not me. Sort of. Not John Moxley, the guy saying, "Oh yeah, I want to fix this and make it better," and like the heel that's got a point, as is like really like it's in vogue, isn't it, in wrestling at the moment? No, he's just a dick. He's a liar. He's a Philistine, and he is all about his own gains. And if anything, the Death Riders have kind of been, like Wheeler Yuta especially, has been gaslit, and the rest of the Death Riders have kind of been brainwashed into going along with it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it kind of gives him more of a trait than just this. Because at the moment, he's still doing that thing that we always pick on. It's like, I'm kind of the funniest, the hardest, and the most poetic, and also, by the way, I could probably Shaggy Bird. Like, he gets every single character trait at the moment, and this would just make him more of a down-the-line baddie.
I think my problem with that is, and my problem again with the broader idea, is that you can infer from his body language and what he was doing and not doing for a long time before this latest new I'm going to try initiative was I just believe what he's saying all too readily.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What if, in alternative suggestion then, so Orange Cassidy wrestles the case away from Marina Shafir or whatever, big moment, gets it in the ring, opens it up, oh, bloody hell, green goo! They've done it again!
Alternative suggestion.
He's got a history with that. Green goo loaded suitcase.
He rang Seth and he was like, "How do you rig up that old green goo thing again? Because I've left my props at WWE." He sent some.
What's this? I can't remember this.
When
Money in the Bank briefcase.
Moxley stole the Money in the Bank briefcase, and says, "All right, you can have it back." And he gave it back to Seth. He was like, "Hey, thanks very much, Jan and Dean." Opens it up.
As they always do, obviously, open up the briefcase.
Yeah, that's what wrestlers always do, is open up the Money in the Bank. Seth did, to check that all the paperwork was in there.
I genuinely can't remember this.
Like, excuse me, this is the green goo briefcase rigging shop where we're going to close. We only ordered one, but we can't sell it.
Find the picture for you here. Oh, God, he's covered in it.
It was Prop Comedy Ambrose.
I can't remember this.
Yeah. It was
2016?
15. 14/15 before Seth cashed in.
That's gone everywhere.
Wonderful.
I don't think they'll do that.
Okay.
I have a sense.
I'm not confident enough to put a pasty bet on that, so I'll...
It's not goo, it's blood.
Ooh. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Claudio and Pac tonight. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be an excellent match. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I think it's going to be a really, really well-worked match. I'm particularly looking forward to the interactions between Darby and Claudio. I am interested in the result, if not the wider sort of thing that they're all fighting for, because surely pro wrestling episodic logic would dictate that Orange Cassidy's team gets a win. You need to, I know we take the piss, but it is kind of fundamental in pro wrestling of, if he wins in this match.
2.5 weeks away from Full Gear, is it? Yeah.
So he needs to win, but then if you're going this hard on the new BCC, Death Riders or whatever, I guess Claudio could take the pin. Yeah.
Botched interference from Yuta, something like that. So he can be blamed and they can...
I don't hate that at all.
Knock him about
I don't hate
week
that at all. Because I do like the thread of how in is he?
Yeah.
How much do they like him really? How much do they believe in him really? I don't hate that at all.
I made the comparison last week. It's AEW's version of, with like loads less melodrama, the early Roman and Jay stuff. Yeah. Like he put his head in a chair last week, and that would be the moment where like, you need to get away from this, mate. And he's not. Instead, he's not back down. He's doubling down. It's just like, I think that's the thing I think I'm most interested in this entire story at the moment, is because I think you were away for, did you see us sit down with Nigel McGuinness?
I saw a clip of this.
Excellent. It was really good. Like he pushed back on McGuinness, all of a sudden bottling it about hurting Bryan Danielson. You know, like, so you agree?
Yeah.
that kind of vibe, basically. And he himself didn't really look comfortable with like who he'd become. And he was
very hesitant on Collision, wasn't he, to go after Orange Cassidy?
His work has been impressive.
Yeah,
this whole
it's
angle.
good character work.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that idea at all. Just Darby and Claudio should be absolutely excellent. Darby and Pac had a great match. When was that? I was on the Build to Revolution 2020.
Yes.
It wasn't. I thought it was very good, not great. I'm trying to reserve great for when it actually matters. It was a very good match. There was a Liger bomb in there that kicked your ass. So I'd like to see them. Like, Pac is better in trios and tag team matches for me. I think sometimes he gets a little bit too methodical. In a tag, he doesn't really have the luxury of slowing it down as much. I love the Death Triangle Elite series. I think Pac is a phenomenal wrestler, and he gets sort of coaxed out of that mode where he tries to be very methodical, which sometimes works. For me, really, it doesn't. So him doing going a bit faster and harder in the context of a tag match with Darby, and obviously he's got incredible chemistry with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a sort of tornado DDT, and then his bump for the DDT is just absolutely unparalleled in all of pro wrestling. The best version of this match absolutely kicks ass.
It's sort of bold booking-ish as well, isn't it, to beat the Death Riders this early into the run, to do your best to make Orange Cassidy viable as somebody who can stop John Moxley.
How does Moxley respond to them losing as well?
You're confronting interesting narrative possibilities if you go ahead and have the babyfaces win. If they lose, then it's a non-traditional build to the pay-per-view because Orange Cassidy...
How often has he won recently?
Yeah, he's getting beaten down enough as it is to then lose.
But matches as well.
It just hasn't felt that focused upon, regardless.
Then he's just got the world title. You know what I mean? It used to be better.
Yeah.
It used to be better.
Sure did.
Moving on, it's time for wrestling time with Adam Cole, baby. He's in action against Malachi Black, who was talking a load of bollocks on Collision, wasn't he?
He did. So we got a new bit.
Oh, let's go.
No, remember, from the Dynamite review.
Oh, from the Dynamite one. Oh, yeah.
So the bit is Malachi Black, we sort of embody him during his promos, doing his supernatural word salad. And then what was the sign-off? So you can shook my dick and kiss my ass.
Sort of trivializes some of his...
they're already trivial. He trivializes himself.
See how he revealed himself last week?
Was this the handshake? Yeah.
He bloody loves it.
I've used the phrase, it's very hyperbolic, bear with me, the death of a dream. I see certain things in AEW like a day oneer having pretty drab match in front of a half-full Collision backdrop and thinking, well, it's not how I pictured this in 5 years' time. There's an element of, I've struggled genuinely even, with the idea as an analyst of everything I thought was an issue was kind of resolved by AEW and proven to be viable. All my complaints were like, oh, Christ,
yeah.
Almost to the letter, it was uncanny. And then slowly with this, aura and cinema.
Uncanny, or did they just stop reading your work?
And Paul Levesque. Or, all this, this Renaissance era is kind of I didn't think this was possible. I thought Paul Levesque was finished.
Yeah.
Seriously, what's going on? And I get weirdly grimmed out by reminders of what wrestling was like at the precipice of actual change. And it did change, and it's fine. I don't mind. I just thought it was a hot second place. I don't know what I'm taking a long way to get here, but something like when people are like, oh my God, yay, the Golden Lovers are going to come back. I'm like, we'll not just leave that in the past and rather than that, Kenny Omega fulfill that unfulfilled promise of being this completely megastar babyface, torchbearer for this new revolution sort of thing. Whenever I just get an echo back to those late 2010s, I almost get Okada, doing a match with Kenny. It's I'd rather you wouldn't touch it. I'm scared. It's a very dear period of wrestling to me, and for me to see the sort of bleak throwbacks and echoes to it just underscores, oh God, it didn't really take as much as I thought it would. And oh my God, Adam Cole versus Malachi Black, when they're both a bit broken, doing a rematch from their 2018.
Yeah, it's January 2018 takeover.
Well over 6, nearly 7 years. And they've both been broken physically to varying extents in the interim. I don't know. If this is a good match, it'll be an over-delivery to me. If this is a good match, it'll be an over-delivery to me. And I know we often step on the dicks of our previews, and I did step on that dick last week. I will still be watching with bated breath of every near fall, because like Malachi Black doesn't really like those.
Yep.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So this has got like a weird meta drama, if you like, attached to it, which I'm way more fascinated by. The actual politics of, will Malachi Black get pinned? You know? Will he take that, what does he call it, the boom?
Yeah.
And will he, do the job? Will he kick out with 3.1? I'm just more fascinated, whether deserved or otherwise, this Malachi Black reputation exists. I can't see the quality of the match being particularly good. It's interesting in terms of, as well, like, none of the actual fiction is appealing to me. The prospect of these two wrestling a match is almost a little bit bleak, genuinely. It's everything between the lines that I'm fascinated by. The politics of whether Malachi Black gets pinned, the idea of the reaction Adam Cole's going to generate, because people chose the House of Black over Adam Cole last week, which is less than ideal considering Adam Cole's meant to be your returning Satan incarnate. It's a total mess.
Yeah.
There's a really strong element that people don't really
care about,
myself included, about like, well, it's about winning 3 matches to get the chance to wrestle MJF. And Strong hasn't had one yet.
He beat Shane Taylor on Collision.
He's on one.
Yeah.
While like Adam Cole's basically potentially doing a House of Black gauntlet.
Yeah.
Or they could wrestle, Cole and Strong could wrestle each other
In the 3rd match.
Yeah.
If each get to 2 each, and yeah.
MJF could be watching from his lair again.
Could.
Yeah.
He's been keeping up with Collision from there. They showed 2 seconds of him on Collision watching, going.
Yep. I believed it.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice, that as well, isn't it?
This whole thing is completely bizarre
to your point,
and untenable.
If he's about to get pinned, Malachi Black just teleport out there and put Buddy Matthews underneath him instead.
That would be so funny.
That would be
1, 2, lights up, lights on, 3.
Still lost, man. Where was I? Shook my dick. I was in your back. You were making a point there, Sidge, about we always get into State of AEW sort of thing. And I was thinking last week with the Young Bucks private party, even if that push doesn't take, with that tag match happening the day after the NXT one, we also raved at. What I was so energized by those 2 matches back to back, basically, was that both of those in execution and in booking were quite forward facing. It's not a hot take. Wrestling always needs to be forward facing. Too often, it gets rooted in the past. Golden Lovers, that's what you're on about. It gets rooted in the past, and it's like, this will be the thing. The thing I loved once will be the thing that saves me again. And it just cannot always be like that. There are some things that you can absolutely mine for either a bit of nostalgia or for a little callback and then move forward, but you've got to be forward facing. I was thinking about it again with Crown Jewel.
This is even a worse version of doing Will Ospreay Ricochet again.
Yeah. Like Bloodline Melodrama, Cody and Gunther. Which one of those 2 is forward facing and is going to sort of power that product forward? It's the latter. And I think this is an example of like the worst kind of like nostalgia, or the worst kind of leaning back on stuff that's happened in the past, because I love Adam Cole dearly. And I know for a fact I've seen Malachi Black matches that I've enjoyed. I forget them a lot of the time, but I know for a fact I don't want to
take over.
Yeah. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this
sad,
match.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And like, you don't often know until the graphic is placed in front of you or the idea is placed in front of you. But I don't think they have hit upon one of those callback matches or one of those, I remember that I think people were clamoring for. I don't think there was a lot of call for this.
Yeah.
And yet here we are. Somebody tweeted the post, they make the individual match posters that always look really cool. Somebody was pissed off about that because they were like, oh man, they've even made the colour scheme black and gold. And sure enough, the poster is in black and gold. And it's this little illusion. It's like, nobody wants any of this. Like, no, like I didn't even love the NXT that those 2 were presiding over in like sort of 2018, truthfully. Like, it's a week to week thing. It's the most backward facing thing on a show that is a little bit obsessed with the smell of its own farts anyway.
Yeah.
Is there get out of jail for Malachi Black here? Because I just was trying to remember what the order was.
Cage can confine me. Shook my dick and kissed my ass.
Suck on his dick, numbnuts.
Oh, yes, that was it. Sorry, we got it wrong. We must apologise. Shook on his dick, numbnut.
That's even better.
Much better, yeah. As the souls collide and the universes once again conspire to take your body from the grave. Shook my dick, numbnut.
Shook on my dick, numbnut.
It's FTR versus the House of Black on next week's Dynamite for that tag tournament thing to get to.
The other way out of the territory. Because FTR are clearly going to be in that tag match.
Yeah.
They basically told you on Collision that they're going to be in Private Party's future. But Buddy can take that pen.
Good job, little buddy.
Is he on the way out?
That'd be something, wouldn't it? Getting back on that creaking pallet lifter.
Yeah.
Triple H give him a run with a belt.
So we're going cold.
Someone belt.
Yeah.
He wants to corrupt.
That's right. And he wants your dick suck number. Yeah. Or Malachi Black doesn't lose and Cole does. And it's now Roderick Strong's path to MJF. And Cole's like, oh, I wanted that. And there's dissension in the Undisputed Kingdom as a result. God. Sorry, Sage. I'm just these could be storyline beats. I know it depresses you to think about dissension in the Undisputed Kingdom, but who could care? I know.
But they should have done all along, because there was no way to link the story together to the new character alignments that just happened over the past, post Grand Slam last year. It's that the week before Full Gear, they should have done, I'm going to say this every single podcast, the Undertaker Triple H WrestleMania 27. The first encounter of, we're going to wrestle, we're going to communicate that we're going to wrestle. We kind of know that we have to, but there's no way to tell a logical storyline or to tie up the loose ends. We're just going to do it because we have to, and scene. It was potentially scanned as that. I mean, I don't really care about this storyline. I really want it to just finish. And I think it's just been an albatross around their necks ever since. But to a lot of fans, I might have scanned as that old, when did this happen? So great. Oh yeah, February 2020. When the Revolution, like the Elite Tag, Moxley Jericho was more sort of like, Gaga, but it was really entertaining and well thought out Gaga. And then you had Cody MJF, which felt like Taz versus Sabu, but with like a clearer babyface heel, philosophy behind it. Just this perfectly built thing. And it's like, oh God, I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome. I've just got a little bit of bonus of Kenny Omega versus Pac. And the post-match, I'll just do Orange Cassidy's singles debut. I'm like, an icing on top of the best cake I've ever, seen.
Yeah.
It might have had that little, we're getting this as well. I'm definitely going to watch Full Gear. Now there's no interest in this match realistically because it makes no sense. And Adam Cole's your babyface and he's getting booed.
Did you see the Adam Cole promo last week?
Yes.
Abysmal work. It was a whole thing where he was like, MJF, we had to get you because
to teach you a lesson, kid.
Teaching you a lesson, kid.
I didn't see this.
I was the devil and we were setting you up because, well, I'll tell you why, MJF, because you don't care about AEW. And he somehow folded it into the Death Riders thing. He's like, keep out of that. Like, don't make this even messier. It's like, especially you're talking to the man that's got the company's initial tattooed on his leg unless he gets it taken off for an incredible bit in reveal. Like, it was the weirdest choice to fold him into that as well when he's already in this story that everybody's going, he shouldn't have told the story. Tack that on and all. It was bad.
Yeah.
But speaking of corruption, Christian Cage has got his claws into many people. Kill Switch Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne's mom's got it going on. Kip Sabian now, of course. I was like, what's going on here, Sidge? On Collision? I was like, why is he there? Why did he nick his pen there? What's going on? Anyway, but Christian Cage hook face to face tonight.
Don't care about the storyline whatsoever.
Yeah.
Am I?
The reveal.
So Christian Cage was on it behind the attack, or
yeah.
We were talking about this on the Collision review because I was keeping him up to date, etc. Like after Kip Sabian gave Hook the old low blow scheme, Christian Cage was like, "I'll deal with you later. Don't think you've won me over. We will talk later." Then on Collision, he's just like next to the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I will say, look, the kill switch thing is probably knackered whatever plans they had for Christian Cage. So in this, it feels like this sort of impulsive scramble to do something. It's not like the devil thing where they had so much time to just bin it or do something different. They had all the time in the world to truly think about what they were actually doing and they failed. I'll give them a little bit of leeway. That said, it's impossible to care about Hook because they clearly don't see him as worthy of a proper title picture. It just feels like this ongoing failed experiment that I kind of have to endure at this point. He's nowhere near as hot as he was. it's not. It's one of those sensible promoter ideas that doesn't necessarily translate to something I'm desperate to, part with my cash for. Yeah, of course you'd have Hook work with Christian Cage. It's like it's curriculum stuff more than it is entertainment. It's for the benefit of Hook's learning curriculum. His coach, I feel like I'm watching him getting coached constantly, not this guy who's TV ready and he's really strong. He needs to go on excursion. The AEW structure doesn't lend itself to getting from scratch projects and making them into world beaters. They don't do house shows. What can you do without house shows? You're very, very, very limited. And I don't care about the storyline. I don't believe that Christian Cage has suddenly just decided, let's attack Hook. Yeah, he's had surgery. It's a cover story. I can't buy it. I don't care about it. Can you talk? I feel like I'm making people miserable.
I was just thinking it's a shame that so many plans appeared to change, because if there was a babyface holding Christian Cage's contract right now, that would be quite an interesting wrinkle on the whole Death Riders thing, because you don't even need to take down the group. You just need to spot an opportunity when Jon Moxley is vulnerable, which in itself is difficult. But when that day comes, and it's the idea that Christian Cage hasn't got a title or hasn't got a...
Jon Moxley, not Christian Cage, should be going after Hook, by the way.
Yeah. That's narratively, yeah. Like there was a Wrestle Dream ending where all the baby faces were on the floor mourning Bryan Danielson's assault, and Hook was included in that group. So they're telling you, there's Garcia, there's Darby, there's Orange, and there's also Hook. Don't forget about him. We're going to keep him featured. And if there was a way that wasn't so horribly contrived that Hook could get hold of that contract, I think you got something, because he's not at Garcia and Cassidy and Darby's level. However, what he does have in his hand is the title shot. And Jon Moxley, if nothing else, can be afraid of a guy that on his day can choke somebody out.
Yeah.
And if somehow you could get to the point where Christian's got to put that title shot on the line and Hook was to win it, it's not just a babyface. It's probably the best babyface to have that. And he doesn't even need to win the match when he gets the shot. But what a moment it could be, what a sort of differentiates it from Money in the Bank in the sense, because it doesn't become this golden ticket. It becomes, you had to swing at him.
Yeah.
This is the threat of that thing sticking around. Because I don't have any other, sort of feelings left to give to a Hook fighting from underneath storyline. I said it at the time when he was... in the feud with Jericho, it wasn't just that it was Jericho. It wasn't just that they'd already done the match, somehow pretended like they hadn't and went back and did the match all over again. It was the fact that it was taking place in Wembley 12 months after Hook had an identical scenario with Jack Perry. That showed zero progression, and arguably less than zero, because the Jericho thing was a rematch. And when you really boil it down, that's every Hook story. It's every single one. There's been the FTW title, or there's been the near miss. I include the Joe title match in that. It was interesting that Hook was elevated kind of, not out of nowhere, but out of, let's use the rankings for 5 minutes. And but the fundamentals of the story were the same. That kid's really got something. Ruffle the hair a bit. Loses when it counts. Wins the token gesture match after the fact. Yeah. Zero character development. Zero development, as Sidgwick points out. Certainly not enough of development of him as a wrestler. You're not seeing these grand changes. 2024 has been an amazing year, if nothing else, in AEW, for seeing the wrestlers that run with the ball when they're given to it. Kyle Fletcher is doing it right now. Swerve Strickland did it at the very, very highest level. You can see the wrestlers that understand how to take an opportunity and make so much more with it and hold on to it, because it's really, really difficult. Hook hasn't been that guy. No. Jack Perry hasn't been that guy, and that's all right. You can take time. You can start again. Build somebody else and go back. Daniel Garcia, arguably, but I don't think he's been quite given the proper, fully fleshed out opportunities yet. But I think his is one to observe now. That's what wrestling is. I don't want to be cruel to the talents, but that is it. There will be some that will rise to it. There will be some that will need to go again. Anna Jay did it against Mariah May recently. The same again is right, here's an opportunity. What have you actually got to bring with that? And I just don't think Hook's been that this year.
No, he's not. It's not. There's something needs to be done as well, because obviously Tony Khan really, really likes him. It's just not taking at all. The structure isn't in place to progress Hook's career.
Yeah.
Team Taz was a magic act, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was all right.
Magic act.
Team Taz was an excellent group to have on AEW, and all of them benefited from it. but it doesn't necessarily mean that then you have every single member becoming this massive star off the back of it when you split.
This your card, Powerhouse Hobbs.
That's it, Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, yeah. It is the Wednesday Night War, though, and in a war you need the demo god, or in this case, I'm the learning tree. It is a fight without honor. It's the learning tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith versus the conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah, I think Ishii's going to get the pin on Brian Keith. With the idea of if he beats Brian Keith, then he might beat Chris Jericho. Again, just a total excess. Remember February 2020? When they built a steel cage match. It's like, Jesus Christ, a steel cage match can mean something again. Yeah. There's going to be a ladder in this match, and it'll be the second time in 2 weeks that Chris Jericho has been in a ladder. It's just a nonsense of excess and desperation. I feel like this match exists. I mentioned at the start of this podcast, yes, it's the Wednesday Night War. No, it doesn't mean anything. And Tony Khan hasn't come out fighting because he got humiliated last time. It was a humiliation in terms of his bold, bullish chat, and he got his ass kicked. And he's like, actually, numbnuts, we won because John Cena and The Undertaker have never appeared on a show with fewer...
Oh, yeah.
Shut up. It's over. Stop fighting the war. It's over. So he hasn't done that. I think he's being subtle here. I reckon they're going to go hog wild in this match.
Yeah.
I reckon there could be at least quadruple juice. Like a really sort of ghastly, violent, all-out plunder, mutilation. With the idea being there will be people online, and I don't know why they booked them towards them too much, and maybe I'm being cynical here, and it's just where this is all heading regardless storyline-wise. I feel like that he's deliberately booked a fight without honor, a bloody stipulation match with the idea of his loyalist army of followers and fans will hop onto X and socials and all the rest of it and say, there was an Extreme reunion. There was an Extreme throwback on Wednesday night, but it wasn't on NXT, people.
What?
I mean, at the end of the day, if Jericho has to be on this show, I'd rather see him get blasted with a steel chair and put through a table and his sort of half-speed attempts at back and forths these days. So I'm excited for this match. I think it'll be wild. Cynically wild, but wild nonetheless.
I can't remember if I told you this on the Collision review or not, or just spoken about it in the office. I just, was trying to stay out of the loop of it all, but you're on X because we're all addicted to it, as you alluded to. I'm on holiday. What's going on in the world? I open up X on Thursday morning, whatever it was, and I saw the picture of Jericho, and I didn't realise it was him basically being put through, or being destroyed by Mark Briscoe and effectively just lifted to the title by Big Bill. I just thought he was gassed after winning the title. I just thought, that's what he looks like after a title win.
I predict tonight that, and NXT might do this as well. Will they? Maybe. But the fight without honor, definitely. Look out for the old Cody Cream spread across Jericho's shoulders because I think he's going through a flaming table. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe Ethan Page will go through on and all via Bully Ray, possibly. But I think that's going to be the payoff. Like he goes through a flaming table, Ishii pins him, as you say, for the title match, the PIP, I don't know, the whatever. Yeah. Ring of Honor's a new TV deal if they get that. Yeah, that can be the spot that differentiates it from any other weapons-based stuff they might do on NXT.
Do an explosion or something. You'll never see that on NXT.
Yeah, but this is it. They might do a flaming table on ECW. Maybe. I don't know.
No.
Probably not.
You've got Giddy with the ECW and NXT opening, haven't you?
It's that music. It's the way they've just played the little editing tricks, and it's perfect. Can't wait to talk about it in the NXT preview. Genuinely, really excited. Not for now. It's not for this preview. It's for later.
And we'll be talking about the ratings war.
Too sacred to put in the same conversation with AEW.
It's not like Tony Khan was a regular at the original ECW arena. So let's keep ECW chat out of this podcast.
We'll be talking about the ratings war in a bit. We've also got a ladies' night, but now
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Who will Ricochet's mystery partner be?
Don't know. Sidge?
I saw someone, can't remember who, pitch Matt Sydal, which...
Oh my God.
Love him.
Short of you, Kazaki, that'd be your dream mystery partner for this tag match, wouldn't it?
I just love Matt Sydal, man. I think he's so underrated. That match he had with Bryan Danielson on Rampage, one of the AEW hidden gems. Not hidden, it was nationally televised, but it was Rampage, guys. So, I think it was Rampage. Either way, they had a match. It was absolutely sensational. Me and Hamlet were waxing lyrical about the match Matt Sydal had with CM Punk, where CM Punk was like, you do apron stuff now since I've left. I'll do that with a body slam.
It's unbelievable.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. So I'd like it to be Matt Sydal. And of course, there's law there because in a very famous PWG match, Ricochet teamed with Matt Sydal and Will Ospreay, I believe, to take on the Super Click. That match is absolutely deranged. Absolutely deranged. Another possible contender might be Leo Rush. We were talking on the Collision review of sometimes like it'll tease something and then it'll bleed into the next segment and you get like a little clue. So then you can Ricochet, who's been linked to Leo Rush in storylines of late. When the challenge was issued by Fletcher and Takeshita, Fletcher said something like, I don't care who your partner is, it could be anyone. And then Leo Rush came out for the next match, so I've got the old DiCaprio. That could be something.
They've both also, they're still carrying the card by the Hurt Syndicate. It's almost like they're kind of like, it's a dry run for if there were to be a team regularly, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mark Davis.
Is he back from injury or was he just back last week?
I don't know. He was on
Collision,
Collision as well, so I don't know if he's just back in the mix and ready. That's not a bad shout, like.
Is like...
You have an idea?
Well, no, Ricochet said the Callis family aren't going to like it. So is Ospreay too obvious? And the fact that it's a mystery partner almost like undersells. I've got Will Ospreay, mate. Like do you know what I mean? Like the idea being that they think they've taken care of the Ospreay problem for now. That's why Kyle Fletcher's already hyper confident. It's like, well, whenever you're ready, I'm going to kick your ass. And I was like, well, this is what it is to be ready, mate. I'm here right now, and I just kept myself in the shadows to sort of surprise
Ricochet and Ospreay, right? I don't get the nostalgia that much, really. Them doing the martial arts pose at the exact same time, but on the same team would be pretty.
Remember
cool.
the Alistair Black one where they do the cross-legged thing
Yeah.
together? It's like Ospreay kind of getting one over on Fletcher by saying, you're not in my league, mate, because you didn't even think that I might be here tonight. Like,
You could,
and then if you beat me here, well, then I guess maybe you could take me down at the next pay-per-view.
I don't know whether it sort of diminishes Mark too much, but you could have Ricochet come out and him be like, go on, then use your bloody partner. It's Carl Fletcher. And Mark Davis comes out and she's like, you sure about that, Mark? You've just come back from a big injury. You sure you want to face me and bloody Takeshita right now? And Mark's like...
You know what I just realised
What?
here? Is that there's a member of this tag team, part of the Don Callis family, who, one of them's Australian, and he's taunting Ricochet with the idea of, well, you haven't made too many sort
Got
of...
no f***ing mates.
I love it. You got no f***ing mates.
But yeah, you have...
That's what you should say at the start. Are you going to bring Ricky?
Ricky, got no f***ing mates. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I love it so much, man. But yeah, Mark Davis could come out and he could say, well, you sure this is a good idea? You've literally just come back from over a year on the shelf. And Mark's like...
Wrong member of the United Empire, mate.
Ospreay, yeah, I like that. But then obviously that would ruin the game because I've got the entire AEW roster.
Yeah, of course. That's decent booking. What's point out? We got a total random shot.
Who wants to go first? Okay. Sid, I'm scrolling up through the AEW roster. When you're ready, tell me to stop.
Stop.
Picking on between 1 and 15.
Too many wrestlers, mate. I will go with 7.
I'm glad you didn't say 5 because that would have been Carl Fletcher. Lance Archer. Killing dudes on Collision.
He's a member of the Callis family, so using Pro Evo rules, I will twist.
4D chess. My partner's right there. I don't want to be a partner. I've lost the chess.
Like when Cena was like, I have the Rock. And like, well, you can't have, no.
Yeah, I'll twist, please. I know he's writing down the swear.
Yeah. Okay. I'm scrolling again.
Stop.
Picking up between 1 and 15.
12.
I'm not sure this is his kind of show, but one half of the Collision Cops, Dax Harwood's going to be on this show.
Oh, I'd never portray Cash like that. No, he's my brother.
Does that mean you're stuck with this?
My brother. From another mother.
A lot of respect for Aussie Open. We had a hell.
Yeah, we had a hell of a match. It's actually in my top 5. It changes every week. I post it on Twitter. I don't know if you see.
Crystal Palace. Ever heard of it?
Dax Harwood's biggest fan is Dax Harwood. The wrestlers are meant to do. God, he needs to calm down. Stop.
1 to 15.
2.
Well, maybe Ricochet could have slid into his DMs. He's one of our new favourites. It's Johnny TV.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see him wrestle, though.
That would be so good. Ricochet's like, here's my partner. And Johnny TV does that along the entire ramp into the ring. Works for me. Right, Hamlet, can you beat Johnny TV?
Probably not. Stop.
God, he doesn't care. He
Picking
doesn't
up
give a
between
damn.
Picking up between 1 and 15.
4.
Small Mark Sterling.
Oh, God, twist. Stop.
Yeah, 1 to 15.
2.
Yeah, no, you're not going to let you have that because he's already wrestling. Pack. So
right,
that doesn't count as a skip if he's
9.
already working. Oh, sorry, hang
Sorry.
on. 9. Well, it's still AW technically. Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, be a cool partner for Ricochet. Don't think it's going to be him, but be a cool partner for Ricochet. We'll twist. We'll go one more. Just for fun. Stop.
Hey, ho, ho. It's Ray and Ricochet. Hey, ho.
He's ignored your stop, so say it again.
Oh, sorry,
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Stop.
I was
Yeah,
enjoying the song.
Picking up 1 of 15.
15, please.
That's Carl Fletcher. My bot is you. Oh, God damn it.
He starts doing moves on himself. No,
You
you're
could
not.
do that.
I mean,
It's like,
fine.
oh, tough days.
Yeah.
Wrestling stupid.
I
man,
think
I'm
you know.
telling
I think you know the guy yourself, and he RKOs himself, and Ricochet wins. So yeah,
I'm the Proto Store. I'll wrestle myself. You got no mate.
so the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast is going through either Johnny TV or Kyle Fletcher as the mystery partner.
You heard it here first.
There we go.
Oh, sorry, so I'm just checking my news. Here's checking my news. The Wednesday Night War, just the one women's match booked by AEW when they haven't moved nights.
Hey.
It's Penelope Ford versus Jamie Hayter.
I'd be lying if I said I'm really looking forward to this. I'm more reassured, maybe the right word, that the fact that they are actually building in advance a match for Jamie Hayter would indicate to me that they have factored into plans, and the idea of them trying to build it, dedicate TV time to again, indicative of we want you to care about this wrestler, which is good because I desperately want to care about this wrestler. She's awesome. So not expecting a great deal from this match. I mean, I think it would be almost unfair given that Penelope Ford, who was like a really sporadic presence in the ring, again, another one where it's like this. The structure of AEW does not really lend itself to getting talent reps and having them improve. So the fact that it's a second match in as many years is, I think it'd be unfair to have too many expectations for this. I just want to see a routine Jamie Hayter win. Maybe I'm selling it short. Maybe I'll be surprised. But going into this match with lowered expectations is probably the fairest thing given the talent involved and what they've endured over the last however many years. I can't see past Jamie Hayter.
No.
But we'll see.
I've seen arguments about this story on X, and I think both are in bad faith. There's this idea that Jamie Hayter's comeback has been mishandled, which I don't totally disagree with. And they're using this sort of foohead as an example of that. And yet, if you actually look at AEW TV, they have been given TV time. A lot of it's been on Collision or Rampage, and then the match itself has taken place on Dynamite. So it's a little bit of both, I think, this one. I think it does feel a little bit, and this is not a dig at Penelope Ford at all, this still feels a little bit beneath where we all expected Jamie Hayter to re-enter the division at. But everything she's done has thus far. Going right back to Wembley, there's not yet really been a point where you've thought, this is where I would slot Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
It's just not happened. But she is a feature player, and to Sidge's point, if only rankings were here and legit and real, because this would be Jamie Hayter working her way back to a title shot. She's been gone all this time, and she just needs to win some matches. She's beaten Saraya. She beat Harley Cameron on the way to that. She's going to beat Penelope Ford. She would be in title contention, which they might just do anyway.
Yeah.
But it has felt like, as a result, why are you starting her from the very bottom? You don't even have rankings anymore. She should come back and be looking to get that belt yesterday. Similarly, Penelope Ford, I hope this match goes really well for her, because the worst case scenario for her is that 2 years pass and she finds herself on the identical treadmill of being underappreciated on the losing end of matches and thus not getting pushed. As if the
Put a
rules...
box on her.
Well, she could... As if the... it'll be in the family home, won't it? It'll be there.
Yeah.
Like, it's as if the, like... I don't know. It's as if her sort of trajectory is a shoot. She loses matches and it's as a result, well, you just kind of get up the card, you can't get these dubs. It's a work, mate. And I'm having some of the best matches on this card. Well, if I need to pick up the dubs, book me to win then.
Yeah.
It does sort of feel like a rigged game against her. I think this would be pretty good.
Can you name Penelope Ford's last 2 opponents?
What, not including the...
We did this, didn't we? I think we've already played this in your absence.
Yeah, she might have... She tagged with Jamie Hayter.
Not that's 4 matches ago.
Oh, okay. Then no,
Robin Renegade?
Ron Renegade on Collision was their most recent match.
So she had single matches before then.
She had 1 match in 2024, 1 match in 2023.
Singles match in 2023.
Singles match, not in AEW, I will say.
Ah.
But it features an AEW talent.
Willow Nightingale.
Nope.
Camille.
Nope.
I mean, I don't really...
Skyblade.
Nope.
Julia Hart.
No.
Billy Starks.
No, it's Kip Sabian for the DDT Iron Man Heavyweight Welterweight title. So.
Got you. The belt that gets won by an inanimate object.
Yeah.
The box maybe wins it.
The box could win the belt. Yeah.
And
Probably won't factor
any
in.
box that wins the belt's automatically over or something. Right, Jamie Hayter versus Penelope Ford, as I said, Sige, is the...
I haven't missed this at all.
only women's match on the card, which means we get to the name of the game. Before that, we need to get to the aim of the game, though.
The aim of the game is to identify to the hour, minute, and second, the first time you hear the first note for the first entrance theme for the first woman to emerge for the only women's match on Dynamite, with the idea being if we can just nail it to that hour, minute, and second, it would really sort of put in bold, italicise, and underscore just what anti-passion project, really, that this division is. They used to have a little trick scheme. They don't really employ it every time, but I still know what he's doing. Where they would do a women's match, or the only women's match in that 1 hour 25 minute range, with the idea being that, you know, gotta put the old birds on for the optics. That's what we've got to do. That's what it feels like to me, anyway. But don't put them at the start of the show, no, because then people will think, oh, if it's all birds wrestling. You know what I mean? You can't put them in the main event because...
AB dub.
You can't put them in the main event because, come on, that's the men are more important.
Yeah.
So if we just took them before the main event, just learn that little bit. It's like, don't worry, you get the big cool main event, yeah, imminently, but we're gonna have to do this first, you know, for the old optics. And you know, maybe I'm being too cynical, but that was my read on things all along. And things haven't changed 5 years later. And I was like, yeah, a bit of a mouthful this, Sige. Can you just jingleize it for me? Sure I can. Don't worry, guys. When the women come out to play, the main event ain't too far away. That's the aim of the game. And the name of the game...
I have missed this.
I haven't. And the aim of the game... The aim of the game... is
the bell of the ball.
Imagine I'm wearing aviators or something, right?
Got it.
It's Top Gun. I don't know how to do it. Can you do this bit? No, like it's...
That bit you're doing.
Yeah, it's Danger Zone. Kenny
Yeah.
Loggins. TK with your pencil. I know you can book one more. Jericho is washed now, begging you to book Riho. Book more women's matches, Tone. Yeah. Book more women's matches, Tone. I don't know the verse, but I was going to say that, so that's it. Now, this is ladies' night, and I'm thinking, oh, what a night. Don't do this to me.
Oh, God.
5 years could be over. Could be over tonight. It won't be, but it could be over. Thanks as always to the Panda Blair himself, Adam Blair at Adam Wilton 4 and Jose Palomares at the Ho 11. The guys who always take care of the
data.
Thank you for this sort of thing. Current standings. I've got 11 for the year. Hamlet's got 6. Sidge has got 4, but Sidge won last time we played, so you go first.
Right, okay. 2 seconds. I'm thinking, right. I've got my phone out because I need to track the old score. The old predictions, rather. I'm thinking, what opens this? One of the tags. They could do a live John Moxley, BCC, Death Riders promo as they walk into the arena.
Yeah.
Fade into entrance. That one.
Yep.
The Moxley New Japan theme, which is class. And then you have that tag. And then when's what's the main event? Fight Without Honor main event? Now I think this is actually going to be the main event.
Yeah, I think that's.
Top of the old hour, probably the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah. Therefore, 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Want to go next, or shall I go next?
You can go next. You've had more wins this year.
1 hour, 20 minutes dead.
Doesn't give a damn.
1 hour right before the main event. Literally to the word of what you said, Sidge. Please don't change channels. We'll do this match, and then we'll get out the Death Riders, and you can see that in the main event. But you've just seen the Hurt Syndicate, and we opened with Will Ospreay returning, for example.
In which case, just to be different.
Ooh, different gravy.
I will go with 23 minutes dead. Because
Ooh.
written down, that is 2, 3, 0, 0. And
Very
what is
nice.
it tonight? NXT 2300. So
Very nice indeed.
no other reason
This
to
match in the first hour.
yeah. And because after Shawn Michaels has come out and Paul Heyman's come out to get E3 chance, they'll probably open NXT with the multi-woman tag. So
She's got a special announcement, hasn't she?
she should up previously. I'm too excited. Hold on.
One last thing to do, just for fun, of course, is our ratings game, which we haven't played for years, it feels like this. To fill you in, obviously, Philadelphia for AEW, for NXT. For AEW, they are in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the NSHU Arena. I volunteer for Death by Snoo Snoo. Thank you very much. Arena, as I like to call it. 11,700 capacity, 2,293 tickets sold. Their rating last week was 628,000 viewers for Dynamite and a 0.19.
Good competition, I think that was the night. I want to go with... You go first because I did the ladies' night game first.
What was it? 6? What was it?
628.19.
Marginally higher.
Even with competition.
Even with competition.
Wrestling competition.
Wrestling
And
competition.
you know, I don't know if we've done a temperature check over the last 2 years, mate. Is the Fed hot or cold?
It's piping hot, mate. It's hot as one of my microwave Ferbentos pies. However, I think AEW is going to win. Viewership and demo. I do. I think a lot of Americans last night want get away from some election coverage on their uppers and downers, went looking for NXT. Just
I
finished.
really don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're both going to bomb.
Well,
I agree.
They just assume that NXT's finished because they were looking for it last night, couldn't find it. It's like, well, I guess that brand's over now. But not much higher. I just don't think that you're going to see any discernible difference between a regular AEW
I should
rating.
probably write this down.
655,000 viewers for NXT.
2 seconds, you need to shut up.
AEW.
I'm nowhere near.
You do the NXT one on the NXT
Yeah,
preview.
we'll do the NXT one on there. 655.
It's a good job.
Yeah, you have to listen to the NXT preview to.
Whoa.
So what's your AEW 2 seconds, bro?
Yeah. 655 viewership.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make you do it for a third time, mate.
Same demo.
0.19.
I don't know.
Sorry, say all that one more time.
You think Zamla thinks
What?
0.19 for the demo and 655,000 for
That's outrageous.
AEW.
655. That's outrageous.
I'm with Sidge on this one, I've got to be honest.
Did you just think they're both going
I
to...
think they're both going to tank.
What's your predictions?
I think they'll be lucky. Both shows will be lucky to hit 600,000, to be honest. Not just because they're going head to head, obviously. So I'll go AEW just, so I'll go 602. And I'll go 0.17 for AEW.
I just think people, regardless of how they feel about the election, might like
Maybe
wrestling as their escape. I would. If I found myself in times of trouble, the Fed would come to me. Speaking words of wisdom, WWE. Sorry. I just think wrestling exists for this, if nothing else, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Escapist entertainment.
I don't think it's going to happen tonight.
0.15, 503.
And if he thinks that, what does he think of NXT? Well, to know that, you have to listen to the NXT preview. But let us know your thoughts on AEW Dynamite tonight in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflet at
Michael Hamflet.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Emma Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts, including, of course, the NXT preview coming your way later on today. And we'll all be back for the Wednesday Night War tomorrow, reviewing both NXT and, of course, AEW Dynamite. But for now, this has been the AEW Dynamite preview. Thanks to Hamlin Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.